Myoho Renge Kyo Nam Myoho Renge Kyo Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. Hello everyone, continuing along to Banishment to Sado. Nichiren wrote this just before they set out to take him out to Sado Island, a northern island off of Japan's coast. Well, Japan is a series of islands, right? So Sado is a small island with in the north, which gets very, very cold. It's kind of a tundra in some areas, and this banishment was considered to be a punishment second only to the death penalty, which he escaped. So they're going to send him far away from his followers and where he can easily write and communicate his thoughts, and solitary confinement of sorts in the cold in some wooden hut with no insulation, whatever. He was going to be living a hard life, and hopefully the government wished would just perish out there. Just forget about him. So he wrote this short letter to those, again, close to him. This one was written to a particular a priest at a Seshiji temple, probably in order that he disseminate this information, and undoubtedly to encourage him. So let's get into it. On the 12th day of the 9th month, I incurred the wrath of the government authorities, and on the 10th day of the 10th month of this year, I am to leave for the province of Sado. From the beginning, I pursued my studies because I wanted to master Buddhism and attain Buddhahood, and also to have the people to whom I am indebted. To save the people to whom I am indebted. It seems to me that on the path to attain Buddhahood, it may invariably be when one has done something like lay down one's life that one becomes a Buddha. I think that perhaps it is encountering such difficulties as have already been explained in the sutra, being cursed, vilified, attacked with swords and staves, shards and rubble, and banished again and again, that is, reading the Lotus Sutra with one's life. My resolute mind springs up all the more, and I am confident about my next existence. If I should die, I will definitely also save each of you. In India, a man called the Venerable Aryashima was beheaded by King Damira. You made reference to him before. And Bodhisattva Aryadeva was murdered by a non-Buddhist. In China, a man named Chu Tao Cheng was banished to a mountain in a place called Shuqiao, and the Tripitaka master, Fa Tao, was branded on his face and exiled to a place south of the Yangtze River. All these were because of the virtue of the Lotus Sutra and because of the Buddhist teachings. Nichiren is the son of a Chandala family who lived near the sea in Tojo in Awa province, in the remote countryside of the eastern part of Japan. How could giving up a body that will decay uselessly for the sake of the Lotus Sutra not be exchanging rocks for gold? None of you should lament for me. Please convey what I have said to the Reverend Dozenbo too. I have also thought of writing to the wife of the Lord of the Manor, but because of my present circumstances, she may no longer wish to be reminded of me. Should the opportunity arise, please tell her what I have said. So, there it is. Once again, in his circumstance, Nichiren demonstrates that his circumstance, first of all, is not to be unexpected, that this is the nature of things when you're working against these determined forces of authoritarianism who want to hold people down and quell the spirit and control people's minds, to demonstrate and to teach that one can achieve Buddhahood in this lifetime is a rebellious act. And the government can't allow you to do it. because then they lose control. People they go, well, why should I listen to the government if I can be fully released and saved in my own mind through the correct practice of Buddhism? That's much more powerful and useful to me and my happiness and my life, to live my life well, than it is to listen to every single edict from the government and cower in fear. That's not helping me. That's not doing anything to the quality of my life other than lowering it. So, in that way, people now refer to Nichiren politely as a reformer. But at the time, reform was not on the government's lips. It was an insurgent agent, a terrorist. We need to be rid of him. So, this is not to say that all of us, when we practice Buddhism, are going to face this kind of persecution. What it is, though, since he was a leader, is telling everyone that when we run into adversities, we can't just fall apart. We can't look at adversities as keeping us down and stopping our progress. We need to perceive adversities as an opportunity to surmount, an opportunity to overcome karmic momentum tendencies from our own past. We think that people do things to us. Again, that quote that I heard not long ago, that lots of people perceive life as something that happens to us. But in reality, as Nichiren is an example here, life happens for us. In other words, life is an opportunity. And so when we confront hardships, we might succumb to it a little bit, or we might get angry, or we might react emotionally. We're human, and that's our attachments being kerfuffled, right? But we need to keep an objective mind. We need to see beyond it. If not immediately, which is our training to get to, at least in the moment, if we can at some point realize we're just falling prey to our attachment to peace and non-confrontation. But although that's a wonderful goal, it doesn't mean we should stick our head in the sand when we reach adversities or when things challenge us. We need to see that as an opportunity to overcome those very things that bring that up in our life. And we'll never run into it again. Because as you change course, as you change karma, then that path that took you down this road to adversity, it disappears. You're on a different path. So you may run into adversity there, but it will not be the same adversity. It will be something else that requires you to hunker down with determination and break through. Right? So Nichiren is our prime example, a living example. He's documenting this, logging this down, and telling his priest followers as well as his lay believers, this is the way to look at this. And I myself am struggling to be an example. And it inspires him. And it should inspire us as well. Okay? So, another wonderful letter. Thank you for listening. And I look forward to the next one. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo.